So good morning, good afternoon, good evening everybody. Thank you once again for tuning into my channel. On today's video I want to talk about something that can really get into your head, and that is close calls. I had one myself pretty close to here. It was one that I'm going to say was the worst one that I've ever had. I went home and I almost put the keys away, and I really sat down and I thought to myself, is riding a motorcycle and putting everything on the line out here really worth it? But there's something wrong here. If I'm going to tell this story, I need to do it from the standpoint and the perspective of actually being on the bike that it happened on. So hang on just a second. Okay, there we go. That's much better. Meet Kryptonite. This little motorcycle is named Kryptonite for one of two obvious reasons. Because of the color of the paint, obviously, Kryptonite green. But it's also a bike that I've not had good luck as far as catching views on my channel goes. But that's okay, let's change that up a little bit. So this is the bike that I was on when I had that one particular close call that almost made me want to quit riding. So to start the story, I was coming up this road much like I'm doing just now. Cruising up, just doing, regular speed limit. I'm not hauling ass or doing anything crazy. I come up to the stop sign up here, and as I come to a stop, I'm looking right, looking left. As I look left, there's a car coming. It's a little gray four-door sedan of some sort, probably a Toyota, and there was a girl in it. And she's passing me, she's looking right at me, which a lot of people do when I'm riding this bike, because it just kind of gathers a lot of attention simply because of the way it looks. I mean, I'm a full-grown man on this little bitty thing, but people love this bike. So I'm sitting here, and the car drives past me. No, she was looking directly at me as she drove past, so I know she saw me. So I start my turn, I get out here onto this road, and I accelerate up to 25, 30 miles an hour, and I'm going to pull over right here because this is where it happened. Alright, there we go. Hopefully that's not going to tip over. As I was saying, I pull in behind her on the road, and I'm accelerating up to the speed limit when I get in behind her. And she gets up to this intersection here, and she hits her turn signal right about here, if I remember correctly. Signals that she's going to make a right-hand turn. Well, as she gets up to this corner and starts to make her turn around the corner here, I naturally accelerate. But as I'm accelerating and she has begun her turn, she gets right about to here and decides she doesn't want to be going down this road. And she cranks her wheel all the way to the left, turns her car, and hard accelerates back across these two lanes of traffic here. When she does that, I look up and see her coming across my path of travel, just like this. I start to hit my brakes, and just as I started to hit my brakes, I very quickly realized I'm not going to be able to stop in time. So what I did is I went into a hard left turn, counter-steered hard left, and as I did that, time just kind of slowed down. I wasn't thinking about anything, just instincts took over. So as she's coming left like this, I'm hard braking, realize I can't stop, go into a hard left turn. So as she's coming back across these two lanes of traffic here, I'm steering as hard as I can. And for a split second, I think to myself, I'm going to scrape pegs, I'm going to lose traction, because I'm going to end up with some part of my bike making contact with the concrete and losing traction on my back tire. As I'm turning left, just as I get my bike straightened back out, she's like this and I'm like this into the turn. I get it straightened back out. I'm on my bike and I can look over, and I'm not even kidding you, the gas cap for her car was right here. I could have literally reached out, flicked it open, and filled up her tank if I had a hose with me. So after I get the bike straightened out, I start to brake, and I didn't pull in the clutch, and I don't remember, I was in third gear or something, but I started to pull in the brake, and I started to slow down, and I come to a stop, and the bike dies. I stall it, but at this point I'm in a stop right over there, probably about 20 yards inside that left-hand turn right there. Come to a stop, and I am at this point on an adrenaline rush, because immediately when I came to a stop, your blood runs cold, and that's when all your senses kind of you become more aware of your senses after the fact that things happen. Come to a stop, my bike is dead. I look down for a minute, and then I look back up, and this young lady is stopped about 50 yards ahead of me with her head out the window looking back at me. And did she back up to come back and say that she was sorry? Did she wave, "I'm sorry"? Did she say anything about that? No, what she did is poked her head back in the window, rolled up her window, and gunned it, and she took off running. So after that whole thing went down, I went back to the house, and I parked my bike, took my gear off, went inside the house, and at the time a buddy of mine was over there, and I had this real agitated, irritated look on my face, and he's looking at me and my wife's looking at me. It's like, what happened? So I kind of went over the whole situation with him and what had gone down, and after I had a minute to calm down, I seriously thought about not going out riding again. And I also thought to myself, is it really worth giving up all this pleasure? The pleasures of riding a motorcycle and all the benefits that you get from it. Is it really worth just stopping because you have a close call? Well, I don't think it is. The benefits that I've gotten from riding a motorcycle since I started doing this far outweigh the risks that I'm taking every time I come out here and ride. That's just it. I can't put it any other way, any other simpler way than that. Riding has honestly made me a better person in just about every aspect of my life. It's made me a better driver. It's made me a better person. It's made me a more calm person, a more collected person. It's gotten rid of stress levels that I used to have before I started riding. I mean, it's no coincidence. I used to be high-strung, stressed out, angry half the time. It's no coincidence that those things just began to fade away when I started riding motorcycles. So in closing on this video, I want to kind of suggest to everybody out there that's watching this that may have had a close call that scared you into not riding anymore. Just don't let it get to you. Learn a lesson from it. Every single close call you have has a lesson to be learned from it. And I've had several other close calls, but that was just the one that made me almost quit riding. But get back on your motorcycle and get back out there. I mean, after all, it was just a close call, right? You didn't get hurt.